to pay a hefty tax each time you go and pump your gas in the car, and each time you get your car serviced. Because
Mm.
I'm going to make sure that you double, triple, quadruple think your mind out if you actually want to keep that car.
And I
I
also
don't
think
think,
there really does need to be. I think it'd be helpful if we maybe the government could help with this, like
yeah,
funding
that's
and
what I was about to say. Yeah,
increasing the
that's
use
what I was
of
about to say.
electric and hydrogen cars, like
Uh-huh.
making more than just like Tesla, because Tesla's pretty poorly run,
Yeah.
and like
Uh-huh.
adding to that,
I
or
was
like
actually exactly
Toyota
about to say
Prius,
that
whatever.
about the government should definitely, like, if you can't afford a car, for example, um, I mean, electric cars. So actually, I read an article the other day actually on a science tech. Electric cars are cheaper and easier to make than gas cars, but the reason why they're more expensive is because they have a better outlook for people. Like in the sense that if I have an electric car, someone would probably be like, "Oh, like I don't know if everyone will say this, but maybe some people are like, oh, look, he's maybe trying to help the earth, something like that." But also, electric cars aren't always helpful for the earth as well because how they make the batteries are very not environmentally friendly. The lithium that they use to put in those batteries, how they mine it, is exactly how they mine coal. Actually, in many ways, they literally like will bomb into the ground. They will go as layers down and get the lithium out, but there are car companies that are now using non-lithium batteries for their cars. Chevrolet Volt, for example, the
Huh.
new one that just came out this year, they are not using lithium batteries for their cars anymore. They are using non-lithium batteries on their cars, which is very good, actually. And the other thing that they could also do, we really got to reduce the amount of gas cars on the road, and also really make it easier for somebody to take public transportation. Like looking at California building a rapid train system that could bring you from San Francisco to Los Angeles in 2 hours. That's pretty remarkable, I have to say, because it would take you roughly like 6 hours, 7 hours on a car ride, is my guess, to get from San Francisco to Los Angeles. Um, and really, what they also need to do is, like they have in New York City and a couple of avenues, they have dedicated bike lanes. They need to make in my opinion, this is what they should do. The ADA, the American for Disabilities Act, requires every new sidewalk to have a indent on the end of the sidewalk at a crosswalk. So someone with a wheelchair or someone who is disabled can easily walk onto the sidewalk. In my opinion, I would make a law called the American for Bikers Safety Act, which would make it legal. Well, it would actually make it illegal if you don't have a bike lane on any new paved road. So if there's a project where they're going to repave a road, repaint a road, or whatever, they're going to have to find a way to put a bike lane in that road. There are many roads where they could do it. Like, for example, I'm not saying every side street, like main road or side road that has relatively a lot of car traffic and might not even have a sidewalk. I mean, bikes are not even supposed to be on the sidewalk in the first place. So they're technically a motorized vehicle in the sense that you can kill someone with a bike, actually, if you're going fast enough. Bikes go relatively pretty quick. So technically a bike is not even supposed to be on a sidewalk. And in my opinion, what they should do is they should make bike lanes on every road to increase people. The reason why people typically don't bike is for safety reasons. That's what I've noticed actually a lot. And so I think that by making bike lanes, maybe people will be like, oh, okay, they have a dedicated bike lane, so maybe I'll be safe now. But really the big thing to how we could really decrease the car use is by making public transportation more accessible to people.
Mm.
Like how we have in the city, for example, in New York City, they have a very big public transportation system there. Looking even down into Texas, for example, in Houston, they have a pretty big bus system there.
And of course, like
Where,
I think it's more important we see like in the New York City at least, there's a lot
yeah,
of debate about like how to keep that transportation system like really up to snuff because obviously not many people
oh
are very
yeah,
happy with the subway right
no,
now.
because it's Cuomo's fault because he doesn't want to put enough money into it, and Cuomo is just a jerk. He doesn't really care about anything about what New Yorkers there. The only thing he cares about, he's like Rick Scott. The only thing he cares about is if he can make his wallet bigger, so he can buy some more bigger, nicer houses. That's the only thing
Like
that
$1 million
Andrew
beachfront
Cuomo.
homes, as we
Yep,
know. All right,
yep,
yeah,
and Cuomo does have a beachfront home. He has one actually in East Hampton. So Rick
that's
Scott and Andrew Cuomo must be best friends. I mean, they must hang out together or something like that.
all right. We are now going to move on to the Middle East and Saudi Arabia. So the CIA, they released, well, the Washington Post first reported the CIA has concluded that the Crown Prince likely ordered Jamal Khashoggi's assassination. Of course, the Saudi Arabian journalist who was brutally murdered in the Turkey consulate while trying to get wedding papers. Very sad situation. And what we know is that, Gina Haspel, apparently even her has listened to an audio recording provided by the Turkish government and obtained through Saudi surveillance of the Saudi consulate where the attack occurred. So, and what's also really interesting that's happening is the State Department is releasing, I'm probably saying this name wrong, Kenan, of course, you can probably correct me, Fethullah Gulen?
Fethullah Gulen, yeah.
Yeah, all right, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
They're now releasing him to kind of placate Turkey and get Turkey to stop saying, like, come on, guys, you should do something about it to the U.S. And, like, you really have to figure the U.S. will be a lot more mad about this. So, yeah, and also, finally, before we get to open up to your questions, Trump was asked about it recently, and he said, well, we don't know. Trump's not convinced that what the CIA is reporting is accurate, and is very disturbing. Very disturbing indeed. So, Ken, I'll go first with you. What's your reaction about this entire Khashoggi situation and the U.S.
I'm sorry, wait. Is the U.S. Returning Fethullah Gulen to the Turkish government?
They're very highly considering it.
Wow, that's insane. So, if people don't know, Fethullah Gulen is the accused mastermind behind the Turkish coup, which is absolutely insane. Here's the deal. Here's why the U.S. does not care that much about what happened with Saudi Arabia. Because Saudi Arabia is rich. They have oil. Saudi Arabia was not on the ban list, Trump's Muslim ban list. You know what countries were on Trump's ban list? Countries that had no terrorist attacks in the United States. Nobody from those countries.
Yeah.
Pretty much the poor countries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So he ignores the rich countries that give us oil, and he puts on the ban list countries. It's just a political stunt. That's what it is. That's what he's doing it for. I mean, if he was principled, he would put Saudi Arabia on the ban list and take off a few others, which don't make any sense to me.
Yeah, because I think 15 out of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia had a big role in the 9/11 attacks that are being pretty much kept under wraps by the U.S. government for a long time, not just Trump. And they've pretty much excused the role in that. I think 9/11 families have been really asking for a long time to see more into the role Saudi Arabia played. But they just want to keep it back because there's so many new business interests. Pretty much every major American elite has at some point or another met with the Crown Prince for his new 2030 vision thing, and that includes people from The Rock to Mark Zuckerberg. So it's a very tough situation for the elites to handle, and it just doesn't seem like there's going to be anything major happening like that. The fact that and apparently. I know that just look more into it. Apparently, it's not that much of a consideration, but has been, I think, reported by some sources. Trump's denying it, but it's going to be very interesting to see if they could. It's going to be very interesting to see how the U.S. reacts to it. And Saudi Arabia even is threatening executions. Either of you can answer this. How valid do you think the Saudi punishment of those people are?
Definitely. Saudi Arabia. The valid of their threats. Their threats probably are actually might possibly valid. I mean, Saudi Arabia is a crazy country in my opinion. I would never go there. But they have it's actually kind of funny what kind of was talking about with the Muslim ban. Yeah, you're actually correct actually. The only reason why they was on the Muslim ban was because of the oil and all the gas exports they have.
Exactly.
That. I mean, and also looking at Saudi Arabia, that country is so whack. I mean, if you're a Kenyan maid, you can't even go there without coming back home burned. I mean, the people there are just absolutely crazy. Now getting on to the fact of, are they valid, the things? Yes, I do believe they're valid because they definitely would hang someone like that. I mean, they freaking killed Khashoggi. Why wouldn't they, if they killed him and then come out lying, and then the CIA finds that the Crown Prince was lying the whole time, that he knew about it? Why wouldn't they be lying that they're going to start hanging people? They probably will definitely start hanging people.
Yeah, but the question is, will it be the right people here? Or will it be some people that they just want to see put down? So here, the Washington Post first reported that CIA concluded the Crown Prince likely ordered Khashoggi's assassination based on multiple sources, including phone calls between the prince's brother and Khashoggi, between a member of a 15-man hit squad and top aide to Mohammed. Intelligence analysts, including Gina Haspel, CIA director, have listened to an audio recording of the killing provided by the Turkish government and obtained surveillance of a Saudi consulate where the attack occurred. So pretty much, we know that it was done by Saudi people, obviously, but how close were they to the Saudi Arabian government is very interesting. So apparently, executions here are on the table, and yeah, it's just very odd. What can/should the U.S. do about this? And it's also up for either of you.
Well, they should definitely stop lying, I think, about that they don't know. Trump, he was saying that he doesn't think that the Crown Prince knew about it at first when they first heard about the killing. And really what they should do, they should definitely make more sanctions, I think, on Saudi Arabia actually to punish them. Because I don't really understand why the Crown Prince would want to kill him in the first place. We're just letting them get by again. We're letting them get by by not giving them any sanctions on their oil or gas or anything else that actually is exported here. They tell you a lot of things that are exported here besides gas. We should really just sanction it because they're going to lose business from us. I mean, I don't even know if we're the biggest customer for them, but I think that if we do put sanctions, that definitely will hurt them, which is especially, I think, what we should do in this situation, as they should really, I don't think they're going to learn their lessons still, but I think that that's really the only thing that we could really do at this point is just put heavy sanctions on there. And that's, the U.S. actually has on level sanctions for 17 Saudis that are alleged with involvement in the Khashoggi killing. So they are going to definitely start putting sanctions, but I think that they should definitely start putting sanctions on the products that are being exported to the United States from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Kenan, before, also wondering what your take is on this as well.
What the U.S. should do?
Yeah.
I think sanctions. Number one, sanctions. Number two, what the U.S. is doing right now, funding Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen. I think that's the number one issue right now.
Yeah.
They should totally pull out of that. We should put sanctions on. If there's a Trump ban, I think the most reasonable country would be Saudi Arabia. I mean, obviously, I don't want to completely ban any country, right? I don't agree with that. But if Trump believed in what he's saying, he would ban Saudi Arabia. So, sanctions number one, pull out of Yemen number two, and whoever ordered this Khashoggi attack, I believe it was the prince, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then totally hunt him down. Seriously. Saudi Arabia has oil, okay, but they have to be held. They have to be held accountable for their actions. So that's what we should do.
I think what would be really kind of underrated as a punishment. Certainly, I do agree with sanctions, but I think it'd also be very, very potent to pull out from this Yemen war where so many awful things are happening. And yeah, it's going to be very tough. How do you think they could bypass Trump, though? It's going to be very tough because Trump is kind of an iron brick wall on this front. Democrats only have the House, and I know people like Bernie, Ocasio-Cortez, a lot of other Democrats as well, even some Republicans like Mike Lee, I believe, they want to get out of that. But how is it going to be tough? How is it going to be possible to get past Trump on this situation and actually bring some real fire down?
I'm going to be honest here. I think it's going to be near impossible. Republicans control the Senate. Republicans control the presidency. To get things done, what I want to get done, it's going to be near impossible. I'm going to be honest. I don't know a way to really do this, other than just political pressuring. just pressuring the Republican Party to do this by campaigning on it. I mean, that's the only solution here.
Yeah, it's really just kind of continued lobbying, continued pushing.
Yeah,
it's going to be
exactly. I mean,
yeah, it's going.